Magicians are not known for avoiding risk, and some of the world's most perilous magic tricks will leave you completely spellbound and astonished. Magic has never been this hazardous, even though it remains an act of dexterity, trickery, and illusion. So, whenever it's the notorious sword-swallowing act, or the renowned magician being run over by a massive truck, prepare to be amazed. Hello, and welcome back to Illusion Insider. Today, we're going to unravel the secrets behind some of the most dangerous magic tricks of all time. So let's dive right in. Starting our list at number 5 is the terrifying run over by a truck illusion. Yes, you heard that correctly. If this sounds unbelievable, here's the scoop. The celebrated magician duo Penn and Teller performed this spine-chilling truck trick a few decades ago, and it has since made the list of the 50 most remarkable magic tricks ever performed. The vehicle used in this act is an enormous truck, with the warning, "Don't try this at home," prominently displayed on it. It's best to leave the stunt to the seasoned professionals. The act begins with Teller, one part of the duo, lying flat on his back under the massive truck tires, while Penn, the other half, undertakes the comparatively simpler task of driving the truck. Before setting into motion, Penn discusses with the audience the potential ways this trick could be executed. Is it a gimmicked truck? Does Teller have a reinforced chest plate? Is it a decoy of Teller? Or is it something else entirely? He then proceeds to drive the massive truck over Teller, both the huge front and rear tires passing over his entire body. Astonishingly, even after such a seemingly powerful impact, Teller appears to be unscathed. So, how did they pull it off? Well, here's the reveal. As we all know, a magician never discloses their secrets. But this trick is an exception that Penn and Teller themselves exposed to the world. Contrary to what one might expect, there were no hidden ramps underneath Teller. Moreover, every time Penn drove over Teller with the truck, Teller emerged entirely unharmed. So, the secret of this trick does not lie with a concealed ramp, but with the truck itself. The truck used in the act was real, and Teller was indeed lying underneath it unprotected. However, the crux of this trick lies on the far side of the truck, where a set of counterweights made the near side of the truck, where Teller was lying, almost weightless. These weights shifted the truck's balance from the near side tires to the far side ones, enabling the near side tires, which were now lighter, to slightly lift and roll over Teller's body without applying any pressure. Now it should be clear, this isn't magic, it's simply the laws of physics, expertly manipulated by the duo. Next on our list at number 4, we have the knife throwing trick. You've probably played darts and experienced the thrill of hitting the target. But would you attempt it with a person standing in front of the dartboard? Most likely not. But for a skilled magician, executing such a hair-raising act is a part of their repertoire, and it is what makes it so captivating to watch. In this act, the magician secures his assistant, usually a woman, to the target, typically a large wooden board, and then spins the board. He then gradually steps away from it. Next, the magician takes the knives that are laid out beside him and begins to hurl them one by one towards the spinning board where his assistant is tied. To everyone's disbelief, each time he throws a knife, the assistant remains unscathed. So, how does the assistant manage to stay safe? Before we disclose the secret, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so, and hit the bell icon to get instant notifications of our latest video uploads. Now, let's unpack the secret. In reality, the magician never actually throws a knife towards the assistant. It's all an illusion. He employs the classic sleight of hand technique where he conceals the knives in a secret pocket, invisible to the audience. During this act, there's another assistant situated behind the target board facilitating the trick. Behind the board, a mechanism is set up corresponding to each knife supposedly thrown at the assistant. For every knife that appears to be stuck in the front of the board, the assistant releases a mechanism from the back of the target. This gives the illusion as if the knife has hit the board. The entire trick is done with effective sleight of hand, quickness, and coordination, convincing everyone that the knives are genuinely being thrown and lodged next to the assistant. Moving on to number 3, we have the heart-stopping Death Drop Escape by Damien Adida, a renowned escape artist who made a name for himself on America's Got Talent. In this nail-biting act, Adida was suspended in the air inside a wooden box, hands cuffed and the box thoroughly nailed shut. The box was hoisted aloft by ropes going through a series of pulleys. Then a blowtorch was ignited, intended to sever the rope's support, which would cause the box to plummet onto 3 potent spikes that could easily obliterate anyone within the box. To intensify the terror factor, the spikes were also set aflame. The challenge here was that Damien had to extricate himself from the box before the blowtorch cut through the support rope, causing the box to crash onto the fiery spikes. But as we all know, Damien is a master escape artist, and he demonstrates flawless control and precision in his performances. After the blowtorch was ignited, Damien managed to uncuff himself quite easily, but he seemed to be running out of time to unlock the box. The support rope finally gave way under the blowtorch, but instead of crashing down, the box remained suspended in the air due to the alleged technical glitch, creating a tense moment among the judges and audience. However, much to everyone's astonishment, Damien suddenly appeared behind the judges, leaving them utterly shocked. If you're keen to know how he pulled it off, here's a closer look. If you scrutinize the entire setup, you can spot a barely visible black backdrop. This backdrop is the key to making the entire trick possible. When the box dropped and got caught in the air, Damien was able to make his escape through a hidden exit at the back of the box that instantly opened. Using a ladder, he descended behind the black backdrop and, via the backstage, made his surprising appearance behind the judges, leaving them and the entire audience in awe. Moving on to the second spot, we have the notorious sword swallowing act. Sword swallowing is an ancient performance that dates back to 2000 BC in India, initially practiced by fakirs and priests, who honed this dangerous art among many others. On Britain's Got Talent, Alexander Magala showcased this sword swallowing act, which many have referred to as the most perilous BGT act of all time. In this act, the performer slides the blade down his throat, executing a series of flips that left everyone in disbelief. He then descended headfirst down a pole, stopping mere centimeters from the blades of a chainsaw. In other renditions of this trick performed globally, you can witness performers swallowing not just one, but multiple swords down their throats as if it were child's play, then retracting them without a scratch. So, are these swords genuine, and do they actually swallow them whole? Well, here's the explanation. There are 2 methods to accomplish this, by creating an illusion and in actuality. The sheer risk of swallowing a sword through one's mouth might have made many of you conclude that this act is merely an illusion rather than the belief that someone could actually guide a long sword straight into their stomach. But the truth is that swallowing a sword is not an illusion, and the sword's tip indeed enters the performer's stomach. This is a skill that only 1 in every 250 million people in the world can master perfectly. This makes the act extremely hazardous, and it should never be attempted by anyone, anywhere. But how do they manage to insert such a long sword so deeply into their body? The act is an interaction between a human's upper gastrointestinal tract and a sword. With years of practice, the performer has learned to suppress their gag reflex. They have even learned to align their body parts in a straight line. So, they control their gag reflex, straighten their esophagus, and thrust the blunt sword right through their mouth to execute this frightening act. Another secret is that the sword used in the sword swallowing is typically made of plastic. When the performer pushes it into his mouth, it rolls up. When he retracts the handle, he keeps his lips tightly biting the sword blade so the roll doesn't easily fall out. So, the decision is yours. Do they genuinely swallow the sword, or is it just a trick blade? And finally, the most perilous trick gracing our list, the sword impalement act. James Moore once displayed an incredible sword act on Britain's Got Talent, which involved him getting seemingly impaled. Assistants initially positioned James on the sword's tip and then left him. Moments later, the sword appeared to penetrate his body, leaving both the audience and judges utterly astonished. His two assistants then helped him off the sword, and he was unharmed. The trick sparked a lot of chatter and left millions baffled, wondering how he managed it. Well, here's the secret. James had a special prop attached to his back, cleverly concealed under his clothes, which included a small slot to accommodate the sword. When the assistants positioned him atop the sword, the sharp tip of the sword retracted and vanished into its base, which then slotted into the support. This trick allowed James to balance in the air seemingly effortlessly. Simultaneously, a faux sword emerged through his stomach, equipped with a mechanism that gave the illusion of a sword running right through him, creating this startling illusion. So folks, we hope you've uncovered the secrets behind some of the most dangerous magic tricks of all time. Which trick do you find the most terrifying? The sword trick, the knife act, or the truck illusion? And do let us know any other video topics you would like us to delve into. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends on social media. For more such astonishing insights, remember to subscribe to our channel. And finally, thanks for tuning in.